Hey everyone, Token Dave here, the dorky token black guy that's just trying to get by, and welcome to another edition of Street Fighter Flashbacks. In celebration of the 30th anniversary of Street Fighter, I'm taking it upon myself to share my memories and experiences of playing the arcade and console games at that period of time, and review as well as share my thoughts on other Street Fighter related media. So, we all have Street Fighter Zero to thank for establishing a plot to the franchise. But in doing so, there are still some questions that needed answering. Like, who is Du and Ken's sensei? Is his name Shenlong or is it Goken? What does he look like? What led Goki to embrace the Sensei no Hado? And with all the awesome power that you get from the Sensei no Hado, is it really that much and that bad of a price to embrace it? Well, a few of these questions were actually answered in another anime called Street Fighter Zero Generations. So, on the anniversary of his master's death, Du visits his fallen sensei's gravesite, and as well as his old dojo, which is run down. But at the dojo, he encounters a mysterious monk whom offers to advance Du's training, with Du being unaware of how entwined this monk is to the history of Assassin. Street Fighter Zero Generations is very short. There is really not that much to talk about. However, the reason why I am mentioning this is because basically it gives us some idea of what really happened and further establishes the building blocks of the plot, particularly towards the Assassin style, Now, this particular anime also introduces us to a concept that was briefly touched upon in the last animation, the Street Fighter Zero animation, and it kind of almost puts this idea in canon. And that's the idea that Goki and Du are actually blood relatives. Now, it really goes there, but is it possible that Goki and Du are actually father and son? It leaves that question open out there, and many still to this day suspect that this is so, based upon the previous anime, this anime, and other similarities that we will see down the road. Now, for this particular animation, I will have to say this. This is basically an experiment to revitalize, the Street Fighter franchise, because basically fighting games were in a dark period in the early 2000s, and Street Fighter Zero Generations' hope was a hope that it would reinvigorate the interest. Sadly, it didn't. However, people that were hardcore fans, actually paid very close attention to Generations, because Generations kind of offered us stuff that basically we didn't really hear of or see. For example, we finally got to see what the name of Du and Ken's master is. It was established here. Definitely Goken, and we actually got a better visual of what he looked like. If you were able to beat Street Fighter Zero and get Goki, you actually saw a picture of Goken, and as well as you got a picture of Gotetsu, the teacher of both Goken and Goki. However, in this particular animation, we see that basically Gotetsu looks vastly different from his original interpretation in the Street Fighter Zero game. And to be quite honest, this particular visual of Gotetsu actually looks a lot better. And as well as basically giving us a visual of young Goken and the direct similarities of Goken and Goki to Du and Ken. Now, one thing about this anime is that basically not many characters are featured here. However, and we do get a better character building for Sakura, and we also get an improved character building with Ryu and his connection to the Sasuke legacy. What is wasted here, as with almost every interpretation, is the involvement of Ken, which is a real pain in the ass, because basically when Ken arrives, he's just there and he just says a few lines and then that's it. So yeah, very annoying on that end. However, the story that's being fleshed out more is actually quite enjoyable if you're a hardcore fan, and while this doesn't have as many fight sequences as the previous animations, the fight sequences here are actually a vast improvement from the Street Fighter Zero anime, and can actually harken back to the Street Fighter 2 anime. Well, it's a little more fantastical than that, but it's almost as enjoyable watching some of these techniques and watching these fights being drawn, pulled off, and executed, So, I know this is fairly quick, but overall, I have to say that Street Fighter Generations, it's cool and everything. I don't recommend this for casual fans. So if you're just a casual gamer or player and everything, or a casual anime fan, you might not appreciate that this is mostly story driven and everything, or dramatic story driven. However, if you're a fan of the franchise, or if you're a huge or a fanatic of the franchise, you definitely want to add Street Fighter Zero Street Fighter Zero to your collection, and as well as basically pay closer attention and basically follow this, because Street Fighter Zero Generations was mainly an experiment, but an experiment that gave us a huge payoff for the future. Agree? Disagree? Drop me a comment below. Give me a like. Follow me on Facebook, Token Dave on Facebook, or Twitter, Token Dave 80 on Twitter. Subscribe and ring that bell so you know when a new video loads. But until then, this is Token Dave, the dorky token black guy who's just trying to get by, and I'll catch you guys later.